Good evening, We by Black family. Welcome to New Africa August. It is August 30th. Can you believe that we have been doing webinars for 30 days straight, 6 p.m., same place, same time. And so tonight we want to introduce you to Miss Deshawn Bullard. She is going to be presenting on manufacturer versus brand. If you are a manufacturer and you want to know about branding, I'm sure she's going to be able to show you with these 7 building blocks needed to succeed, exactly manufacturer versus brand. Deshawn, how are you this evening?
I am wonderful. So glad to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. So kind of tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about your companies that you have, all of your businesses, because we know that you're in a lot of things. So we want to make sure that we hear about all those things. And then after that, you can go right into your presentation.
Okay, so can I launch my presentation? Because who I am is on my presentation. Can I launch
it? Excellent. Yes, let's do that. And then let's just give a little bit of rules for people in the room.
Okay.
So if you want question and answer, look down, press on the Q&A inside of the room so that we can get those questions answered quickly after the presentation. And we want to make sure that you're in that chat telling us where you're from, why you're here. And we're hoping that you're going to be enjoying yourself tonight. So I'm going to fade out and I'm going to let Deshawn take it over.
Well, thank you very much. I am getting ready to share my screen now. Let's see from the beginning. So who am I? You know, people call me the hair coach. I've been in the beauty industry for over 25 years. I am a licensed cosmetologist and a certified trichologist, and that's just a person who specializes in hair loss. My background is in information technology, so which is kind of crazy how I circled around and came over into the beauty industry because I graduated from Tuskegee University with a degree in computer science, but the beauty industry and making women feel beautiful was always my passion. So as the hair coach, one of the things that I do with NOURITRESS hair products is we help women experience beautiful hair again. We help women overcome issues like hair thinning, hair shedding, hair breakage, and hair loss. And we've been doing this since 1998. And during that period of time of growth, we have been featured on some of these news programs that you see here, on Bounce TV. BET has asked me to come on with a Black Girls Rock Don't Touch My Hair series. I've been on a lot of different hair shows and TV shows. I'm an author. I wrote about 3 books, 3 self-published books for the beauty industry. I also am a radio personality here in the Atlanta area on one of the local radio stations. And I've also was asked by the Act Like a Success conference back in 2017 to share my success story. But more importantly, I'm glad to be here on We by Black today. So as I phase through some of the things that I have done and the places that I've been, let's talk about why we are here. We're talking about brand versus manufacturer. And we're going to really, really dive into that because some of us say that we want to be a manufacturer, but I think some of us really want to be a brand as we think about the definition of manufacturer as well as how we want to build a successful business. A lot of us want to be what they call a brand. So my story is, I told you shortly that I was a computer programmer who changed over to the beauty industry. And I first owned a salon, which I still own. I owned a salon. My salon is called NOURITRESS Salon and Hair Clinic. But when I first launched, I launched as a manufacturer. But a manufacturer is one who actually physically makes the product themselves. They make the products, and we'll get a little bit deeper into that. But the product that I own is NOURITRESS hair products, and we first launched onto the shelves of major stores in 2012. And this is a photo here of me here at JCPenney's at my first launch of my first store of my brand, the first store of my brand. One of the things we're going to go over today is the 7 building blocks of success. A lot of us, we really don't know what it really takes to really be successful as we're building a brand, or if we're deciding to become a manufacturer. So in this brief presentation, what we're going to do is go over the 7 building blocks of success. So number 1, when we're talking about building a building block, the first thing we need to do when we're building a business is to build a business blueprint. And many people never think about it like that. Today, we live in a world of what we call social media, and we use social media as a place to promote and build our products and sell our products and promote ourselves. However, we never really stop to build a strong foundation of what we really need in order to build a strong foundation and to build that blueprint. So some may say, what is a blueprint? And we've heard this over and over again as it relates to building houses. But a blueprint is a design plan or technical drawing. It is a design plan and a technical drawing of a home, of building a building. But when you build your business, you need the same thing. You need to pull out that pencil, you need to pull out that paper, and you need to design a plan for your business. You need to map it out, how you see it from the end all the way to the beginning. And a lot of us want to take shortcuts. We want to feel like we are just hustling. We want to hustle. We want to just get quick money. We want the money today to pay our bills. But we're not talking about just paying our bills. We're talking about building a brand. So building block number 2 is understanding what is a brand. Many of us hear the word brand, but don't know what a brand is. So let's dive into what is a brand. A brand is a name, term, sign, symbol, or design, or a combination of them intended to identify the goods and services of one seller or group of sellers and to differentiate them from other sellers. So in short, that's the technical definition. It is your unique identification of who your product is. Okay, it is a unique identification of who your product is. Each brand has to have a unique mark that people want to identify with, that people can't identify with. So when you're building a brand, one of the things you want to think about is, what is the value of your brand? What value does your brand bring? So the value of a brand is the ability to increase sales through brand recognition and brand loyalty. So here we have on the screen, we have the image of Starbucks. Okay, when we talk about the value of a brand to the ability to increase sales through brand recognition and brand loyalty, every time any one of us drives and sees this green lady with the crown on her head, you know, they have, we want to pull over and pick up a cup, and we spend $5 to $7 for a cup of something that they have sold to us and that has made us loyal customers. So the value of a brand, when you're thinking about creating your brand, okay, or creating your manufacturing company, is to increase the sales. If you can't increase sales, then you have to go back to the drawing board. We have to go back to the blueprint. Many of us who are, many of you who are watching have had businesses for a while, and you feel like you just can't get off the ground and that the sales are not where you need them. And so this is where we have to go back to that blueprint that we talked about. We have to go back to that blueprint and make sure that that our design plan is set up in such a way for us to make sure that we are building the revenue and the sales that we are looking for in order to pass on that legacy to our children or children's children. We need to make sure we go back to the drawing board to make sure that our brand has recognition and that we create what we call brand loyalty. Brand loyalty is a must as we're talking about building your brand. How many times have you gone to the grocery store and you have your favorite ketchup? I'm not going to say a name. You have your favorite ketchup. They may have one on sale that's what we call a knockoff brand or a generic brand, and we'll talk about that. But the generic brand is cheaper, but you'll spend the extra $2 or sometimes the extra $3 just to get the brand of your choice because that brand has created a loyal customer in you. And so you want to make sure that the value of your brand is that you create brand loyalty. Now, a brand has two parts, okay? A brand has a tangible part and an intangible part, okay? So let's keep this in mind. And I hope you have pencil and paper and you're writing this down. A brand has two parts, tangible and intangible. And we're gonna go over what those mean. So the tangible part of a brand means that it has a name, that your brand has a name. And in my case, it's NOURITRESS. We'll get to mine later. In this case, it's Walmart. It has a name. It has a logo. In this case, Walmart has this is the logo, and it has a slogan: save money, live better. Okay, that's the tangible part, is the name, the logo, and a slogan. Every brand should have a name, a logo, and a slogan. That's the tangible part. Okay, the intangible part is the image of a brand. What is the image of the brand? What is the personality of the brand? What influence on the customers does that brand have? And here on the screen, I brought up McDonald's and Chick-fil-A because when we talk about intangible, okay, so the tangible part is, okay, the McDonald's logo, the golden arches when we see it, okay? Chick-fil-A, you know, the Chick-fil-A big cow moo when you see it. That's the tangible part, but the intangible part is the image and the personality. And a lot of times I have conversations with my friends and we joke about when you go to McDonald's, you get to the drive-through and the person just sounds like, you know, welcome to McDonald's, how may I help you? You know, what you want, ma'am? But then when you get to Chick-fil-A, it's welcome to Chick-fil-A. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So the image and the personality really makes a difference, and the influence on us, on the customers, on how you create brand loyalty. Because now you drive through a Chick-fil-A drive-through and it's tons of cars, because not just because of the tangible part, but because of the intangible part, because of the image, personality, and influence on customers that it has, and even the things that it does in the community. Now, when we talk about brand, also a brand has two levels, okay? A brand has two levels. And I know we're gonna ask questions at the end, so just write down any question you have. So a brand has two levels. It has a corporate level and it has a product level. Now, for me, like, this is the boot that I want. This is the boot that I want. So that's why I put this up here. But, you know, a brand has a corporate and a product level. So let's talk about that. So on the corporate level, the corporate brand represents the whole company, right? The corporate brand represents the whole company. For example, this is Gucci. But the product actually represents a specific product. In this case, boots. Okay, so in my case, NOURITRESS. NOURITRESS, my brand represents the whole company, but when it comes to the product, I have different divisions. I have shampoo, I have edge repair, I have different products that will specifically make people identify with the brand because it's their favorite product, okay? So I hope you guys got that. So here's my brand. Also, you have different brand types. Now, this is where we come in when we talk about manufacturing versus a brand. So when it comes to brand types, and again, this is my brand that's on the screen, NOURITRESS. We've been around since 1998, okay? Three types of brands. You have a manufacturing brand, you have a private brand, and you have a generic brand. And so when you're creating your brand, you need to find out which one do you want to be. Do you want to be a manufacturing brand? So a manufacturing brand is a brand created by the manufacturer for its own products. For instance, Heinz ketchup, right? So Heinz ketchup actually is the company that make ketchup. They make ketchups for other people that fall under a private brand, but their own particular brand is Heinz. But they make ketchup for other private brands that are owned by a reseller. For instance, they may make a brand for, let's say, I don't know where you guys are watching from, but let's say I'm here in the South and we have groceries. For instance, I just won't name a grocery store, but a grocery store brand. So a grocery store has its own private brand that is normally made by the ketchup manufacturer. And then that brand sits right next to the shelf of the actual brand of the manufacturer. And it's a little cheaper. So the manufacturer is making money off of their own brand, as well as they make products for other private brands. And then we have what we call a generic brand, which has no name at all. No name at all. So number 3 in the building block is you have to know the difference, and I said this earlier, between building a brand and hustling. I see so many people that are just hustling, and don't get me wrong, I'm from Chicago. It's nothing wrong with getting your hustle on, but at some point, you're gonna, if you want your business to grow, if you want to make those millions of dollars, and I'm just telling you from experience, you have to sit down and build the business. You need to build the front office, the middle office, and the back office. You can no longer do business in your car because that won't work unless your business is cars. You can no longer do business on the street unless your business is the street. You're gonna have to sit down and know the difference between building a brand and hustling, okay? Building block number 4, you need to determine the type of business you want to start, or if you're already in a business and you need to make some changes. Like I said, I've been in business since 1998, and I've had to do some twists and turns in my business, especially through, in the hair care industry, and our focus is hair restoration and hair loss, that when the natural hair movement came in, we were out when relaxers were very popular. We made products for salons. We sold relaxers to salons, and my business took a pivot when the natural hair movement came out. So you have to be prepared from the beginning to know how to transition. So as we look at the determining the type of business, this is for those who are building a new business or even those who are existing in business. For those who are starting a new business, you have to decide, do you want to start a new business? You also have to decide, do you want to purchase an existing business? There may be a business out there such as franchising. You want to purchase something that is an existing business that is making money. We see mergers and acquisitions happen all the time. A lot of hair care brands have just been purchased by some of the larger brands. So that's purchasing an existing business or purchasing a franchise. This is building block number 4 of brand building, determining the type of business you want. If you are currently in a business, you still may want to buy an existing business and merge. That happens a lot. Determine your blueprint and how you want to grow. There may be another business that may be doing similar things to you, that may be growing at a level or rate that you want to be at, and you have some extra money, you have some cash, you want to do some things different. You can purchase an existing business or merge with a different business, an existing business, if you're already in business. Building block number 5, determine who your customer is. So this is my favorite part of building a brand, building your manufacturing business. This is my favorite part because most people think that everybody is their customer, and that's simply not true. So we're going to go over, how do you define who your customer is? First, let's talk about the definition of a customer, because I don't really think that most people know what the definition of a customer is. We just think it's somebody that buys your products, but actually no. So a customer is someone with a problem or need, and they come to you for a resolution of his problem or fulfillment of his need, and is willing to pay the price for your solution. A person with a problem or need. Your customer is a person that has a problem or need, and then they come to you for the solution or the fulfillment of his need, and then they're willing to pay for it. Let's keep this in mind. This is good. This is good. So when we think about this, once we figure out that, okay, so what problem is your product resolving? Because your product or your business has to resolve a problem, even if it's a daycare. So we know with the daycare, What problem are we resolving? We're resolving care for children, parents who work. And so then now we look at, so parents who work. So in that case, the customer is anyone who have children, because of course, if there's people who don't have children, then those are not your customers, right? So you're looking at those who have children who are of a certain age who need childcare. Of course, you're not looking for a parent who has children who are 16, 17, and 18. That's not your customer. So again, you have to be solving a problem for the customer. Okay, let's look at the customer profile consideration. So when we are determining who our customers are, we first look at the problem or the need that your product or service is solving. And then we look at the gender. Is it male or female? What is the age group? Baby, toddler, children. What age group are you selling to? If it's a product, especially, because that's what this is about, your brand. Are you selling to adults 18 to 25? Are you selling to adults 25 to 40, 40 to 55, or 55 plus? This is very important because a lot of times we build our brand and we have no clue who the customer is. If you're selling under eye cream for bags, I'm not selling that to a 25-year-old because a 25-year-old doesn't really have a lot of bags, right? So we're going to be selling to that 40 to 55. We're going to be selling to that middle-aged customer, okay? In our brand, our sweet spot is 35 to 55. We're hair restoration. We're selling to women who have lost their hair due to hormones and years of wearing weave. But even in our own company, we had to go back because our first customer base were women who were middle age. But now that we have younger women, ages 25 to 35, who actually wear hair extensions and really experience hair loss because of years of wearing weave and hair extensions, we had to even change our customer profile to go back a little bit further to reach those who are in their 20s, because times have changed. Times have changed after being around for over 22 years, okay? And then you have to look at, are you selling to a retail store or service provider? So in our case, we sell our products to customers via our website. We also sell our products to retail stores as well, okay? So this is, you guys are on Facebook Live, and I want you to type in the chat book. In this case, who is the customer of AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, and Sprint? Who is the customer? I want to find out. We'll come back because, you know, I can't see anything. So, you know, I don't know. But who's the customer? Some people may say that, you know, the actual person who used the phone is the customer. But actually, the customer is the service. So when we go back and look at AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, and Sprint, right? So these are the companies that actually sell the phone, right? So then we go back, we go back and we ask, who is the customer here as relates to like Samsung or iPhone? So who is the customer? So the dialogue would be is that Samsung and iPhone actually sell to who? They sell to the service provider. Samsung and iPhone, the customer to them is actually, they have two customers. Their main customer is they sell their phones through a service provider, which is AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, and Sprint. We get our phones from the service provider. So although we have our Samsung phones and our different types of phones, the main consumer for Samsung, iPhone, Google phone is the actual service provider, AT&T, Verizon, and Sprint. And then we are the customer, the consumers, between the ages of 18, okay? Between the ages of 18 and up are the customer of AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, and Sprint. And I say that because, you know, a lot of kids nowadays have phones. And whenever I am live teaching this class in person in the past, you know, a lot of people will say, you know, well, kids have phones too, but kids are not the customer. When Samsung and iPhone created the phone, they didn't create the phone for kids. They created the phone for adults. And so they sell to anyone who is 18 and over. However, we as consumers, we actually take the phone and we give it to our kids, which actually just created another business for someone else to now come in and create an app to block things that kids should not see. And so that just opened another door, but the phone originally is designed for someone who is an adult, okay? So let's talk about building block number 6. When you are creating your brand and building your manufacturing firm, one of the things that you need to do, building block number 6 talks about creating your vision and mission statement and determining your business classification. This is important because I just had a meeting this week with my team, and I was meeting with, I have several businesses, and like I said, one of them is a salon. And at the salon, we sell the products at the salon, but we service the people with the pain. We have a lot of people that come to us who have hair thinning, they have hair breakage, have hair shedding, they have hair loss. We have a private room. We do hair and scalp analysis. We do follicle checkups. We do steam hydration. We do all of this scalp therapy, and we partner with doctors. And one of the things that I did with them is I sat down and talked to them about remembering what our vision and what the mission is. Because sometimes as we all are working in our business, we have to come back and visit our vision and mission statement to keep us on track. And so if you don't have one written, it is important that you write one in the beginning. And a vision statement is really just a picture of your company. You know, it's a picture of your company on how you see your company in the future. You know, it may apply to the entire company, or it may apply to a division of the company. Okay, it doesn't make a difference. It really answers the question, where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? Who do you want to sell to? Okay, what do you want to do? That's the vision. So sit down and visualize and write down a vision. Who do I want to sell my products to? At the end of the day, who is my customer? Do I want to be on the shelves of products? Do I just want to sell online and make money that way? You really need to create the vision statement so that you can know how to go about the mission. And the mission is really nothing but a formal, short written statement of the purpose of the company and the organization. The mission statement should guide all the actions of your organization. It should spell out the overall goal and guide decision making. It provides the framework or context which the company strategies are formulated. So for instance, you know, I read you this, you know, formal definition, but when we talk about a vision, the vision is simply the picture of your company. So I'll go with me, with NOURITRESS. The vision of my statement was to create a premier brand of products to help women overcome issues with hair thinning, hair shedding, hair breakage, and hair loss, and to achieve beautiful hair again. But how was I going to do that? The mission was I was going to sell to salons who were servicing the customers who had the problems. We were going to create classes for those stylists so that we can train them in the area of hair loss. You see what I'm saying? As well as we were going to put those products on the shelves to get them at reach. And we were going to do this through classes. We were going to do this through digital marketing. Again, we've been around for 22 years. We had billboards. We were in magazines like Essence and Jet. We were in every magazine you turned your head back in the early 2000s. You opened up, you saw NOURITRESS. So that's the mission. That's the way we go about making the vision come to life. That's all it is. The mission is just the way you go about bringing the vision to life. Okay. And you have to concretely put it down on paper so that you can know where you're going. You also have to determine what classification your business is going to be. A lot of times we skip this step as well. You know, a lot of us, we open a business and we operate as a sole proprietor. But if you operate as a sole proprietor, you put all of your stake, everything you own, is whether it's a home, a car, any asset you have, you put that at stake. Okay. But you have to decide, are you going to be a sole proprietor, an S corporation, which is a small business corporation, a C corporation, which is a full incorporated INC? Are you going to be a limited liability corporation, or are you going to have a partnership? I'm going to tell you why these are important. And we miss, a lot of people miss why this is important. Because as you're building your business, you don't want to continue using your personal credit to build your business. You just don't want to do it. You don't want to use your personal credit always. And so depending on how you set your business classification up, and I'm going to get to the business credit part, you can get credit for your business that don't require your social security number. But if you are classified as a sole proprietorship only, you will not be able to do that without using your social security number. Your social security number personally will always be attached to your business. So as we're thinking about growing, we're talking about building a successful brand, building a successful manufacturing company where you're manufacturing products, and maybe you're the brand, but you may be manufacturing products for other people, deciding on whatever you want to do, okay? Because that's what a manufacturer does. You are going to grow your business, and you need to separate yourself from your business, point blank. And how do you do that? My recommendation, but I always tell people, talk to your tax advisor or your accountant. My recommendation is to always start off as like an S Corp or a limited liability corporation, or if you're in partnership with someone, a partnership. Never really start off as a sole proprietor. Never really start off as a sole proprietor if you're looking to grow. But if it's something that you're just doing, you know, you have a side hustle, you know, and it's okay, because some people just have side hustles that they're not really looking to grow into a major brand. They just have a side hustle just to give them that extra money. So if you're just doing that, then you don't have to follow anything that I said. But if you're looking to build your brand so that you can hire other people and have a business and help other people feed their family, then one of the things that you want to do is you really want to sit back and look at your business classification, because it would assist you along the way in your growth. Other things to consider is, will your business be a home-based business? Will you rent out a retail location? Will you rent out a warehouse location? Will you have a virtual office? You know, a virtual office, you know, nowadays they have these WeWork places. They have these places where you can rent offices for a day, or you can rent offices month by month. They have places where you could just rent out a conference room just to meet your prospective clients and things like that. So will you have a kiosk, or is your business mobile? These are things to consider as you're building your brand. So I always tell people this, you know, with a retail location, a lot of people always want to go first to a retail location. And so what is a retail location? A retail location is a place like, say you have a Walmart, or you have a Target, or you have a big major store retail, and then they have the small businesses outside. The rent in those places are higher because they bring in a lot of traffic. If your business does not require traffic like that, don't go into a retail location. A lot of people make the mistake of going, saying, you know, I'm gonna go here. If your business is a virtual business, if you're gonna use digital marketing, if you're gonna make people aware of your brand by doing a lot of digital marketing through social media and all of that, don't go into a retail location. A retail location is only designed for someone who requires some business that requires the traffic of a lot of people in a retail area, okay? Other things to consider. I always tell people to become Dun & Bradstreet verified. This is important. This goes back to the part that I was talking about earlier as it relates to trying to get ready to build business credit. And I remember the first time I did that for my business, it was just like a light bulb. Like, I bought a car in my business name. It wasn't on my credit report. You know, so things like that. You're going to need to buy cars for your business. You know, it just depends on the type of business you are. You're going to need to buy office equipment. So you're going to need to have a credit card at one of the office stores, or you may need a gas card for the car that you purchased for your business. You know, I have been able to do all of that without using my personal social security number. But in order to do that, you must be DMB verified. Otherwise, you won't get what we call trade lines of credit. In order to be Dun & Bradstreet verified, you must have a website. Number one, you must have a website. You must have a physical www. You must have a website. You must have a social media page, Facebook and Instagram, that's named after your business. Now, here's the kicker. You must have a phone number in the business name at the location of registration. Let me just stop right there. This stops everybody in their track when I say this, because if you want business credit, if you want to buy some computers and you want to get a Dell credit card, and you're not going to give them your personal social security number, because this is all based on the business, you have to have a physical phone number that is attached to a physical location. Point blank. You can't have a mobile number. Some people say, well, you know, I have a mobile number and my mobile number is in my business name. But again, it's a mobile number. Even if you have a home-based business and your home-based business is registered as a S corporation in your state, it is required, in order to build business credit, that you get a phone at your home-based business in the business name of your business. Point blank. We'll be able to talk about this later. We'll be able to talk about it later, but I'm telling you, it is so important, because they have to have a place to find you if you don't pay your bills. You can turn your mobile number off. So it is required. And I know there'll be a lot of conversation about this at the end, but it is required at the end that you have a phone number, a physical phone number at the business name of the location of registration. And I tell people, it's just that simple. Think about any business that's out there. Just think about, you know, all the businesses I talked about today, the Starbucks, the grocery stores, the Walmarts, the Chick-fil-A's, the McDonald's. Those are all restaurants, but the hospital, your favorite local chicken, run that you like to go to, your favorite hot wing spot, your favorite, clothing store. All of these physical locations have a physical phone at the business location that you can call. So you're no different. Even if you have a mobile business, say if you have a mobile business, you still have to have a physical location in order to build business credit or to become Dun & Bradstreet verified. I'm sure we'll talk about this in the question and answer part. Once you get all that done, then you can do what we call get business lines, trade lines of credit, like from Office Depot, Sam's Club, Dell. You can have credit cards like Visa, MasterCard, and American Express. Now, I will say this, for the Visa, MasterCard, and American Express business cards, they will require your social security number in order to get the card. But the card, once you get the card won't be listed on your personal credit. So those are what we call bank cards. So if you get bank cards, they will ask for your social security number, but the debt won't show up on your personal credit, right? But what you want to do to start is you want to get trade lines of credit, and that's Office Depot, Sam's Club, Dell, BP, Texaco, all those things like that, okay? And you can use these trade lines of credit to build your business. And don't strap yourself down, because the more debt you put on your personal credit, the more debt you have to use your personal credit card. You need 4 computers, you need 3 computers, you need this machine, you need cleaning supplies, you need this, and you're using your personal credit. All that does is drive down your own personal credit score. And you don't want to do that. So it's important with all the things I talked about before to build you up to this point so that you can get trade lines of credit that don't require your personal social security. Okay, and now my final building block number 7. Building block number 7 is marketing is one major key to success. Marketing is one major key to success. No business can thrive or survive without marketing. You have to have a marketing plan. And so a marketing plan, all it does is outline some specific actions you intend to carry out in order to reach your customers. In today's world, like I said, my business has been around for, over 22 years. And so the ways we used to market back in the day were like via radio. We would do like radio ads or buy radio spots. We would buy, like I said, magazine ads, or buy the local leaflets that you would put that will come in people's mailbox. They used to call that direct mail campaigns. But nowadays, social media is the best way. Okay, it's the best way. And we'll get to that. That'll be like kind of my end. You need to create a marketing strategy. Okay, and so what is that marketing strategy? A lot of people think marketing is just putting your stuff on social media. You can't just put your stuff on social media, because how are you going to get people to look at it? You need to buy. Marketing requires that you spend money. Marketing is not just you putting something on your social media. Marketing is that you put it on your social media and then you promote that ad, you promote that post with dollars in order to reach that customer that we talked about. And Facebook is, and social media is such a beast in that area nowadays. It can take the information that we talked about earlier. Once you define who your customer is, what age group you're looking for, what buying habits they have, that you can target those people through social media. Okay, so you should create that as a part of your marketing strategy. It tells you where you want to go. You know, what is your roadmap to reaching your customers that you defined earlier? Okay, so some of the marketing strategy components is what? Number one, markets. How much do you know about your current or future markets? Will customers buy from you? I know it hurts to think that people won't buy from you, but you really have to sit down and be realistic about your brand and really map it out. Because if you have what I call a real conversation with yourself, this is the only way you can make millions. I mean, really, this is the only, really one of the ways. Now, I'm not gonna say the only way, but one of the ways. You know, how much do you know about the market, the industry that you're in? Okay, who is your competition? Okay, how are you going to get your products to market? What does the distribution look like? You know, on the product side, now there's all different types of products. We have, you know, I've been to the We Buy Black conference. We have the detergent, I have detergents, we have hot sauce, we have food items, we have clothing items, we have hair items, we have jewelry. I mean, we have everything, you know, we have everything, you know, in our community. So how are you going to get those products to market? You know, what way are those products going to be distributed? You have the great ideas, you bring them to life, you have your beautiful custom greeting card. How are you going to get those custom, beautiful greeting cards that you created to market? Who is going to distribute them for you? Okay. What supply chain would you use? You know, how are you going to buy the things that you need wholesale? Okay. And then positioning, where does your product fall as it relates to the overall market? Do you have something that's not out there? You know, do you have something that's out there? You put a twist on it. These are your marketing strategy components, and you could take a picture of the screen so that you could sit down to make an effective decision about bringing your market to life, bringing your product to life, or retargeting, remarketing the business you already have. Because times have changed. We're in a pandemic. Some businesses had to close down. And now the businesses had to close down. We have to come back in a different way. Some people are scared to leave their houses. So now how are you going to get your product to market? You know, not everybody's shopping online. Okay. You know, like I said, I own a hair product line. My sales were up like 79% because I sell a product for hair restoration and treatment. And we started really hitting hard during the pandemic because women were at home saying, I took this wig off, I took this weave off, my edges are bad, my hair is thinning, it's broken. And now that I'm in the house, I'm forced to stay in the house, I'm gonna find those products that I've been seeing on social media that's been coming through my timeline, because I'm gonna take this time to really treat my hair. And that's what was happening to us. And our sales were just bing, 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 bing. And then once the salon was able to open again, the women who had used the products in those 2 months that were getting results started telling everybody else. And then our salon was overwhelmed, and it's still overwhelmed. So again, we're in a pandemic. Your business may have had to close. You need to sit down, take some of the things that we talked about tonight. If you haven't already done it, if you've done some of the other things, that's fine, but go ahead and look at your new marketing strategy. All of us have been there, even me. I had to reevaluate my business, especially after being in business over 22 years. Things change. I had to change my packaging. I had to take out parabens. I had to take out sulfates. I had to take out mineral oils because I had a product that was what they call now a legend brand. And then when the natural hair movement hit, people wanted products that were more clean. And so I had to throw away thousands of labels, hundreds of thousands of labels, and reformulate. So it was either that I was going to close down because I wasn't doing all this, or I was going to have to say, hey, now I'm going to have to sit down and do a remarketing strategy for my business to be able to reach customers and say, hey, you may have used my products before, but here we are. And so now all of our products have leaves on them to kind of let everybody know that we're clean, okay? If you don't have a marketing strategy, I'm going to tell you, you're going to find yourself going down a winding road with a lot of potholes, and you will waste a lot of time, money, and energy. So there's no way to get around it. I'm going to end by saying this, you know, marketing via social media now is the way to go. You know, marketing on We Buy Black, I think I marketed on We Buy Black last year. That was part of my marketing strategy. So last year, I think I marketed. And I didn't market, you know, some of you guys who are looking, and you say, hey, I want to market on We Buy Black. You do, you know, you want to market one time. That don't work. I'm telling you, it doesn't work. You know, I think I marketed on We Buy Black for like 4 to 5 months straight. I think I did it almost 6 months straight. And then I said, okay, now I'm going to, you know, try another, you know, another place that people have eyes. Whatever marketing strategy you put in place, especially on social media, you don't do it one time. You need to market out and craft out some time, because people have to keep seeing your business. People don't buy your business when they see you one time. Is that they, oh, I saw, yeah, she was on We Buy Black. I kept seeing her on We Buy Black. Oh, then I saw her over here. Oh, then she came across my timeline. Then this product was over here. Then this celebrity was holding it over here. You have to create a marketing strategy and create a marketing budget to get seen, to get noticed, in order to sell, in order to bring brand awareness, in order to create brand loyalty. And marketing via social media is the way, because it's a part of our everyday lives. We all have our phones. You can't even leave out the house without your phone, okay? So our kids today are even born with a phone in their hand. So as you are creating your marketing plan, your marketing strategy, please make social media a part of it. Here's some of the statistics, you know, about the Americans who use social media. 73 of Americans use YouTube, 68 of Americans use Facebook, 35 of Americans use Instagram, and this was in 2018, so we know that these figures have changed, okay? We wanna make sure that we use social media to build our business, because it is the way of life, okay? If your products are even in stores, like we're on Target, we are on Target.com, you know, right now. We want to do marketing using one of the social media platforms, because Facebook has about 2.2 billion active users, okay? 2.2 billion. And Instagram has about YouTube has about 1.5 billion. This is monthly. So some of these things are free. Look at, we have, you know, 1 million on Instagram. So guys, use social media to keep your customers engaged, to keep them informed about your brand, and to increase brand loyalty. But more importantly, at the end of it, stay focused. Be like a horse with blinders on. So much of what we see now in social media takes our focus off. Allow God to breathe into you what he wants you to do. If you're looking at somebody else's page, if you're looking at somebody else's, what they're doing, you can't even create a marketing strategy for yourself, because what you have done is stole somebody else's marketing strategy, and then you don't get the results. And that's a lot of what's happening today. Don't look at what anybody else is doing. Stay focused and hear what it is meant for you to do for your brand. You know, I see so many brands come out, and these brands chose the colors of this brand because they're trying to knock this brand off. You know, stay focused, you know, do what's best for you, and create your own way. Don't look to the left and don't look to the right. Run the race and run it with endurance. And guys, it is time for question and answer.
All right, all right, all right. Thank you so much, Deshawn. I have some questions personally, but we want to go ahead and open the floor up. And we also have Mr. Sharif, who's going to be coming on in a minute as well to join us as we end this segment. But let's go into the chat box. So a lot of people were asking, very, very specific questions. We want to go all the way to the top. Someone was asking about labeling. Give me 1 second so I can find it. So a private label would be like a white label brand.
Yeah, so a private label is a company that actually, you're not actually manufacturing the product yourself. You actually find a company that's already making the products, and then they're just going to put your label around it. And
Okay.
there are a lot of companies that do that, depending on whether it's in the food industry or whether it is in the hair product industry that we're in. Private label simply means they have it in makeup, a company that actually makes lipsticks, foundation, and then you find them, buy the product, and they put your label on top of it. You're not doing any manufacturing. You don't have any control over the formulation.
Okay. Okay, and someone asked a question, I don't know the clarity of the question, but they were asking something, what about fitness? My customers are children and adults. I'm assuming that they were maybe talking about when you were talking about your demographics.
Okay. And the question...
If that's all they put. So if Leona can be a little bit more specific in terms of her question, we can kind of get that answered for you. And then let's go into, let's see. Yeah, it's hard to find the questions inside of the chat. Okay, tax code for LLC. People were asking about what is the tax code for LLC. I think this is maybe pertaining when you were talking about, when to use an LLC and when not to.
I always tell people to contact your accountant. I have an LLC, but I'm an S Corp LLC, limited liability corporation. So talk to your accountant to just find out where you are financially, because that's where it makes a difference. Depending on how much money you make, you don't necessarily have to be an INC. You can still be a LLC and be classified as a C corporation, or you could be classified as an S corporation. So I would tell people to talk to your accountant about that, because it really just depends on, what's flowing through your bank account.
Okay. And someone asking the question, what if an online business uses their home phone number? So I know you were talking earlier about make sure you have your own business number, but they want to know if they're an online business, should they use their home phone number?
I would not use my home phone number. You need to get a business in a phone in your business name. And, Naeem, a lot of people get confused about that. And I always bring that out because I had an experience early on in my career going to different help seminars like this to assist me. And I have been a proponent because I've been able to use business credit and build my own credit in the midst of that. You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't using my own personal credit. So I was able to keep my score, there, because I'm not using my personal credit. I was able to buy cars, gas cards, Dell business, everything that I said was really me. And so if you have your home phone number, you will never be able to accomplish or achieve that.
Okay, and something else I kind of want to see if you can help touch on when people start talking about business. Sometimes people shy away from getting an accountant. And I think that they really don't know the importance of what an accountant is for. And then they kind of rely on themselves in terms of like doing their own books. And then of course the books sometimes aren't correct. And they have to take it to an accountant at the end to do filing and things like this, when actually they should just really have an accountant or a bookkeeper on retainer. Is that correct?
They should. I mean, that's very important. This was all about brand versus manufacturer. This wasn't about hustle versus side money. So, if the topic was hustle versus side money, then no, you wouldn't need an accountant. You could use your home phone. But if you're trying to build a business, like my products on Walmart, Sally Beauty, Walgreens, it would not have happened without all the things that I talked about being in place. So you have to have an accountant, because as money flow, you have to be accountable for the money. You have to know what the tax codes are, like what you just said before. And you need an accountant who is well versed in knowing what to do with the money that you bring in. It's very important. especially in the books. The books are the most important,
Right.
especially as you look to, if you look to want to sell your business. So if you are creating a brand and eventually you want to sell it, your books have to look a certain way. And your cousin doing it for you, I promise you, your business won't get sold.
Right. Okay. So Toya, so Leona, she did come back with the question. She has, she's doing marketing for her fitness. How does she market adults and children for her fitness classes?
My recommendation again is using social media. I wish social media was out 22 years ago when I first started. Do videos and then create a marketing plan and market that video to the customers in your customer in your predefined customer list that we talked about. Sit down and choose the age group and then look at the buying habits. Sit down. Are these people who like fitness? Those are keywords. Are these people who like fitness, people who like workout? You can use those keywords and then market your video to hit the timelines and to the telephones of, what he said earlier, telephones, to hit the phones
Right.
of those of your potential customers.
Okay. What are your thoughts on trademarking?
I think it's important. My business is trademarked, so no one can use NOURITRESS the way it's laid out. It's very important. Depending on your brand, you don't want anybody to use it because someone will use it. Not just trademarking your actual logo, but trademarking a slogan. Like for us, we trademark "Growing your hair back is not magic; it's science." And we already had to pull somebody because they tried to use that, but it's trademarked. So I'm very, very for trademarking something that's particular to your business that you don't want anybody else to use, because in social media times, they will steal it.
Okay. And another question is, how would this particular person brand their blog about getting off of Section 8? They're calling it From 8 to Great.
If you're trying to trademark, I like that, from 8 to great. I like that. Just go to the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office or find a trademark attorney to do it for you. And there are a lot of trademark attorneys out there.
Okay. And let me see, someone is concerned about some of the Black hair products that they buy and that they're not really being made by Black companies who control the manufacturing. What things can they do to determine if the product is trustworthy?
There's so many lists, like during the pandemic, there's so many lists that go around. My biggest take on it is to do your research on the brand, find the about us, ask the questions. My brand started 22 years ago. So 22 years ago, it wasn't popular to be a Black woman that owned a brand. And so I never put my face on my website. But in the natural hair movement, when some of the young girls were bloggers and created brands, then it became popular to be a Black person who owned a brand. So then now I had to start making myself more visible, because now it was popular to be a black woman who owned a brand. So now I can make myself more visible. So I would just say, contact the brand that you're using, ask them who the owners are. I mean, send them a message on Facebook, send them an email, ask them, go to the about us. If they don't want to give you the answer, then trust you me, they're not Black owned. Because if they're Black owned, you're going to see their face somewhere.
Okay, excellent. Someone has a topical pain relief product. One is great for workouts and all of that stuff. So how can they use more than one marketing strategy for each customer?
It just, again, we talked about earlier, mapping out what each product does. We talked about how brand has the different levels. So what you have to do is look at the product, tell what each product does, and then create a separate marketing a marketing strategy for each item. So like I have a product called Edge Repair. So Edge Repair helps to restore the edges. That's not the same as my product that helps with seborrheic dermatitis. So I have to create two different marketing strategies for each product. And that's what you have to do.
Okay. And the next question we have, can you speak on the importance of the character of your team who work with you in promoting your vision and mission?
I think that, one of the things as African Americans, and I'm guilty of this, and, we love and we want to help everybody. Sharif is on the line. I see him here, and we love and we help everybody, but we have to get out of our own way. We can hire family, but sometimes it's not best hiring friends. And it's better to just hire someone. You know what? Let me go back. it's best to hire a agency that hires, because what I realize is I don't know how to hire, right? That's not what I do. And so I hire friends. I hired in the past friends that didn't work out, and then we fell out. I hired, you know, family. It didn't work out. And so I had to just stop and get out my own way, because it was impacting my growth, because I was spending so much time fighting on the inside. And I stopped and hired a HR consultant that did the, you know, all of the reach for me to find me somebody. And then those were the best loyal employees that I had, because they bought into my culture, because they didn't know me. See, when people are common with you, they can't receive your greatness. So when you have your friends and you have your people that you grew up with around you, or you went to college with, or you went to high school with, they know you as Shiny from Chicago, right? So it's kind of hard to see them as the CEO who now has their products on Walgreens and Walmart, because now it's like, oh, you all that and you arrived. And so they can't really receive your greatness. So you have to hire people who don't necessarily know you, because they can buy in. They're really looking for a job, and that's what they want to do. And then they buy into your vision and your mission that you are trying to accomplish. But a lot of times we hire people we know.
Okay. The next question is, would you advise against using a service to set up a business or do it yourself? And are there legalities with doing it yourself that a service may help you with?
You know, I recommend that you hire a service. If you're not, if this is not what you do, hire a service. If you do it yourself, again, you're going to have to, it's a lot of work that you're going to have to do. So I'm all for hiring a service and letting somebody do it for you. It's the easy way. I mean, even when it comes to trademarking, when I first trademarked my business, I did it myself. I didn't know that you're supposed to keep checking with the, you know, the trademark office. So then my mark became abandoned. And so then I had to hire an attorney to bring it out of abandoned state. So if you don't know how to do something, it's easier just really to hire a service.
Okay. And do you have any marketing agency referrals?
I'm sorry.
You have any marketing agency referrals?
I don't have any marketing agency referrals, because I don't use a marketing agency. I use, they're not agencies. They're just, you know, marketing companies that are local, or that are in my industry particular. My recommendation is to find a marketing, not necessarily agency. You can find an agency. Some marketing agencies can be, you know, kind of expensive, but I do recommend finding a marketing consultant in your particular industry. Like if you're in food or if you're in fitness, you want to find a marketing company that is, or consultant that is in that particular, in your particular industry.
Okay. And I think this is the last question in the question and answer. How can I market my consulting services for improvement, for quality of customer service?
How could they market their consulting business for improvement, for quality of service? You know, I think the best thing to do is, if you already have a consulting business, the way that you can make your business better is really, that comes from the people who you're already servicing. You know, ask them questions, send out a survey. A lot of times we don't send out surveys. Send out a survey, ask the hard questions. You know, how am I doing? How is the customer service? You know, how am I providing service to you? If it works, and you use that survey to help you improve your business.
Okay, and I do see one more question in the chat. How much can someone expect to pay a trademark attorney?
You know, you know, every attorney is different. So again, they range from Hollywood to Bankhead. So, you know, you know, just do it. And then also, let me just give you a tip when it comes to trademark, because there is someone on Facebook, I can't think of her name, but she trademarks really for the beauty industry. But you can find like paralegals. They have companies that are like paralegals that'll do it for cheaper. So, you know, just do your research and find the one that fits your budget.
All right, Mr. Sharif, what's going on?
Hey.
How are you?
All right, pretty good. I would say too, that it would, well, first, Mr. Deshawn Bullard, how you doing?
Fine, how you doing, Mr. Sharif?
I'm doing great. On the last question about the trademark, I've seen it range. anywhere from about $450, like just for the whole trademark complete, including the legal services fee. They probably would, I've seen it as low as like the legal services fee around $250, $250, and then the actual, filing around like 200. I think it's like 250. So like between 450, 500, all the way up to about 1,200, 1,300.
Right.
Yeah.
And typically, if you're going to pay about, like if you went through a service like LegalZoom, you're going to pay around 450, right? And if you were to get someone, an attorney who understands about trademarks, that may not be their specialty, but they understand it, they'll probably charge you around, they may charge you an hour, 2 hours. So they're probably looking anywhere between $200 to $400 on top of the $250. If you get someone who's pretty much well experienced in trademarks, they're going to charge you right around $400 an hour, and they're going to be looking at around 2 to 3 hours. So that's probably around like 1,200, and then on top of that, the 250. Okay. But it could be worth it because, it could be worth it because the last thing you want is someone to pick up your name. You definitely want nobody to have your name in the beauty industry.
Never.
Take off and run with it. You don't want, that's the last thing you want. I've seen it happen many times with so many businesses. I've seen businesses, get started, they're excited, they're ready to market. And I remember one time in particular, our sales team were meeting together and I was showing them how we sell to people, right? Like how we should sell to people, because we don't operate like every corporate company. We don't want to just get people money. We have a bigger interest in mind for those people. So this person was very excited. They didn't want us to talk no more. They just wanted to give us their money. And I said, you know what? I got to ask you something. That name is a really good name. Have you looked to see if anybody else owns that name? And she says, well, no, I did not. How would I go about that? So I had the sales team with me. I, went to uspto.gov. I went into trademarks. I did a trademark search. I typed her name in, and there was multiple companies that had that name trademark, but one company in particular had that trademark for the industry that she was in. Mm-hmm. And they had multiple trademarks under the industry, from hair care product to, they really put money into the trademarks. Mm. And I was like, miss, I'm so sorry to break it to you. Like, someone is using this name, and I advise, you get with a trademark attorney. Maybe you was using it before them. Maybe there may be something there. But, before you go to market with us, because marketing, again, we go back to that plant. Marketing is like the plant coming out of the ground, ready to let everybody know it exists.
Exactly.
So you have to do that due diligence of establishing your roots first. And that's what I was telling her. Go back to your root before you come out the ground, because you don't want to come to us and we put you in front of 1 million people. Everybody like, hey, they don't got you all of these sales, and then now somebody knocking on your door like, hey, I need all of that money.
Yes.
And the name. I want all of the money and the name. So so these are excellent points, Ms. Deshawn, that you're making. These are the points that I would say that really make and break our businesses in our community. We're very creative. A lot of African Americans are entrepreneurs. We have a high ratio of entrepreneurs in our community. We're very creative. And the thing about entrepreneurs, we look for issues and then we figure out a way to solve them. We have a lot of issues. So we're surrounded by a lot of issues. So it's sort of like we're always looking for a problem to solve. And that's really been our history here in America, that we've been, solving everyone else's issues. So I appreciate it. Appreciate the whole presentation. I appreciate all the questions. I had a few questions myself, but they were answered as Naeem was rolling them out. So you got them all.
No, thank you for having me. I'm really passionate about this, and because, like even when I talked about the advertising part, one of the things in our Black community is we don't advertise, and We don't have, I saw a question over here about how much money should you put aside for marketing, you know, per month. And it really depends on, you know, I think there's a formula that says that you should supposed to spend about maybe 10 or 15% of what you know, generate, you know, from your revenue. But the thing about it is that we have to do something, and that we are in 2020, and putting flyers on a person's car is not the way you market. You know, and that we in our community, you know, We Buy Black has provided such a great platform, because I can tell you last year we were bumping, you know, when we were doing We Buy Black. We just wanted to make people more aware, but we didn't do it 1 month, we didn't do it 2 months, we didn't do it 3 months. We were just like, okay, so we got to keep this thing moving, you know, until I started seeing the questions like, okay, people kind of like, they seeing us a lot. Let me just pull back some, and then we'll come back, because that's how you market, right? And so I think that we just have to understand in our community that it's more than a hustle, Sharif. And we, a lot of times we just hustle, and like you said, we fall off the wagon, and we don't want to do the steps. We don't want to take the steps. We don't want to build that firm foundation. Then our house starts crumbling down, and then we're crying. You know,
a lot of people don't necessarily trust, and I would say in our community in particular, because it's an educational component that we miss.
Right, it is.
That some people, they get it growing up, like, you know, that book. I try not to quote too many books, but the one of, you know, Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad. But the point in that is that, you know, you could, if you grow up in a household where your parents don't know business and they're not passing down that information to you, then when you grow up and you just get excited and want to go in business yourself, you're gonna make a lot of mistakes, But I did have a question for you. What are you doing now, or what have you already done to ensure that your business continues to thrive if you were to leave this earth?
You know, right now what we're doing is, of course, I'm blessed to have a full staff. So I have a director of operations that if I died tomorrow, she knows how to continue to run the business. You know, then we have our, you know, our admins in the company, you know, so we have people in the company that know certain things. I think the only part that I don't have is the money part, as far as like who knows my bank account codes, you know, and things like that. But that's in the will. So, you know, my husband will be able to at least get to that, to, you know, get that transferred, you know, to come over. He just needs to take the paper to the bank, because he don't even have the codes, you know, to that. But if I left this earth, you know, it's putting people in place. You have to have that. I tell people that Robin to your Batman. You have to have that person that knows who makes the shea butter, who makes the stimulating scalp shampoo, who does the labels. But all of that is in a file. All of that is recorded. You know, most of the time we don't record that. And we actually have it's just simple, an Excel spreadsheet that just lists who make the labels. We have 78 products. Who make the labels for the 4 ounce, the 8 ounce, who make the labels for this, who makes the bottles, where do we get the bottles for this, where do we get the tops? You know, all of this has to be written and put in a file and given to the person who is at the helm of the organization, someone else other than you.
Yeah, most definitely. That's one of the things that, you know, we're dealing with We Buy Black right now, is being able to put together the SOPs, the standard operating procedures. Because for the Instagram account, for those that run our Instagram, I was heavily involved in the direction, the layout, the plan, like everything, from sales to all these different departments. And I work with every individual, you know, in each department, I work with every individual. Sometimes I would dedicate 2 weeks, a month, sometimes 2 months. You know, let's say if that person had to leave, let's say if whatever the situation was, I would be ready to teach a whole nother person. But then, Naima's funny. So Naima, along with, you know, Faith and other members in our team, they was like, look, Sharif, this got to end. You know, we have to put together the SOPs, the standard operating procedures, because when somebody leaves, it can't be everything lives in your head. Now you have to download all of that into that next person. No, like, what is it? Let's write it out. Let's get it down. So we're actually in the process of doing that for every last department. And we have about 7, 8 departments now. So it's like, whereas that people do this starting out, you know, but again, it goes back to just, you know, just not knowing how things should go. And, you know, but that's what we're here for as a community. You know, we learn from each other. I learned a lot from your presentation. Definitely. I still want to be reaching out because some other questions I have, particularly when it comes to the haircut industry. I like to study the haircut industry because I work with a lot of individuals that are in the haircut industry.
Right.
And I think the last presentation I talked about how many of us in the haircut industry, well, many of y'all in the haircut industry, I'm not in, but
Yes,
you know, a lot of you all are getting your shea butter from maybe 2 or 3 different entities that are out there, getting your bottles from about 2 or 3 or 4 different entities that are, and the labels, you know, some people are doing labels here in the United States. I ran into quite a few companies that was using the same label company. And I was just thinking, I was like, man, but you know, like if you all would have just, you know, if we all knew that there was a person here in the US or abroad that we work with, and let's say if they were here in the United States, this is how it would look. If you're going to order 10,000 labels this month, another person's going to order 5, another person's going to order 20. Right. That order can come together. And instead of you paying 10 cents per label, you could pay 5 cents per label. But, and then the market is open for everybody. So it's not even a thing of, you know, us competing against each other.
Right.
But I realized that we as a company, We Buy Black, is one of the things that I hope to pick up really soon, once we kind of iron out a lot of other stuff, is to help, you know, organize that for our community, you know, and get these larger hair care brands to say, hey, here's a person right here in the US that can handle your volume. You're currently paying 10 cents. If all of you all order together, they could get it to you all at 7 cents, same time, if not quicker. Right. So we want to help establish those type of things to help, one, I mean, of course, to help keep the money in our community, but then 2, to help save you on your bottom line.
I think that would be great. You know, it would have to be a company like you that would do that, because it's a big trust factor.
Oh yeah.
That we have in our community. We don't really trust each other, and the truth of the matter is, we do steal, and we will steal from each other because it's the crabs in the barrel mentality. Because I want what you got or what you think I have. And so I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get what you think I have or to live where you think I live. You know, and so it's unfortunate because I've been doing this for 22 years. And, you know, I'm not new. I don't have a new brand. And I actually own my formulas. I don't have a private label. Back when I had my brand, it wasn't really a lot of Blacks that had brands because it was hard. But private label has allowed people to just, you know, wrap their label around a brand and then, you know, sell it and put together a marketing plan, which is good. You know, it's the market is open, but we have to, you know, we need some middle ground to trust. Because I would say just now, I just wouldn't trust anybody, because even the place that actually manufactures, because I don't physically manufacture, I own my formulas, but I manufacture at 3 different facilities, you know, and one of them is Black. And I'm not going to tell the story. I had to wind up pulling my products because they were selling their business to other people by saying, oh, you know, I make her product. Oh, you see the shine spray that I make for her, I can make it for you. And I was like, oh no. So I had to pull everything. And it forced me to get and the reason why I'm passionate about even my, you know, my program where I am about where you're going to go is because I was forced to then get a warehouse, because it was good because she was Black. They were making the products for me. And they were like, you don't have to get a big warehouse, you know, with people and forklifts. You can house all your stuff here. So when, you know, any of the stores at the time, it was JCPenney's, we have our people here. I love that. You know, and you could just pay me for housing your stuff here. I love that. So we had a small office, right? That all we had to do was we kept some products to ship for the internet, but we just handled the business part because they did the shipping. But when I found out that, and things always come back, that she was passing my product off saying, oh, I make this for her, I can make it for you. Then that became, then that I hate it because it hurt my trust for anybody making my product. So now I'm very, you know, I want you to have my label, but you can't give nobody else my formula. I trusted you with my formula. Telling somebody else you can make my formula for them and put their label and make it a private label, quote unquote.
I understand that completely. I've seen it. I've seen exactly what you're talking about. And I've heard that complaint too, and I've seen it firsthand, with manufacturers, because it's another thing. I mean, there's other things too, why a person would do that. That I'm not saying that is right, but there's a certain understanding. I had to actually sit down with a manufacturer that I know that was here in the U.S. And kind of comb through, like, what was your thinking when you decided to do that? Like, what was your thinking? Because I know even when I went to China, it was like, hey, we make the tires for Goodyear. You can make, we make it for Coca-Cola. We'll make it for you too.
Right.
But and their thinking is a little different, and our thinking is a little different too. And you're right. There are certain things that we have to. There's certain codes, business ethics that we have to have in place when we deal with each other. And those things have to be ironed out up front, because that person, and I'm not talking about I'm talking about the person that I dealt with. In their mind is that, they saw the successes that we were helping with these companies that went through that program with them, but they were ready to grow to another level too. And they didn't want to wait on us to get them to that level. They wanted it now. Mm-hmm. So they went off and thought it was a good idea to, and now we were ordering literally 1,000 units from them every week. And that was big for them at this particular time. Mm-hmm. And what ended up happening is that, I literally had to cut it off. I had to cut them off completely, just because of the same issue that you're talking about as well. And I had to give them it took about 2 years for them to call me back, and we had a conversation. And I told them, I said, look, before you got started, you told me that you weren't making any, like, you had no business. You've been in this business for a while, but you weren't really making any money. I promised you that I was going to help you grow. If you were to be patient with me, I promised you I was going to help you grow. They just got impatient. That's all it was. They just got impatient. And there was some things that we should have put in writing. So that's it's things that we learn being in business. But I worked with that person again. I didn't cut them off completely. I decided to work with them again, just to let them know that, we all in it together. Like, I don't want to see you hurt. I don't want to see you starve. I want to see you grow as much as I want to see these other companies grow, as much as I want to see us grow. And there is a way, but we all have to be on the same page, and we can never break that.
Right. But I guess after 22 years, like, you're younger than me. And I remember the energy. Right. I remember the energy that I had, but now I'm moving to the other side. I'm looking more towards retirement. So like you said, putting all the things in place, having a manual in the office, that with the standard operating procedures listed out, like, if we need to ship freight, what's the freight company, if we're shipping to customers on the internet, it's written down, right? And not just that, it's screenshots of what the screen looked like, right. So, literally, you have to put the screenshot, like, this is screen you go to, and this is what you put in, and this is what so every company needs those things in place in case you leave this earth, like you said, or you got to go out of town. I actually went through the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program, and it really, really, helped me a lot with the information on how to put those things in place to make sure that they're there. And even while I was at Babson, which is like the #1 entrepreneur college in the United States, they told us there that if you're here and you can't leave your company there, you need to just close it down, because you need to be away. And so, the good thing is I'm at that point now. Like I was telling, one of your people, they were like, Naima was like, we were emailing you, or we were whatever. And I said, the sad part is I don't have the emails from my job connected to my phone, because that ain't what I do no more, right? Yeah, I don't bring my work home. I used to work in the earlier days, 3 o'clock in the morning, you up to 3,
Right, that's what we doing right now.
Right.
But those days for me, I go to sleep. I come home, I'm with my family. I think nothing about work until I get there. That's somebody else's job to think about it now. Yeah. But I even tell them, don't do it. So it's just about a balance. And I hope one day it gets better. To be honest, in 22 years, to me, social media is making it worse. And and it's making it worse. You can put, for instance, you can put that, I'll give an example. We do, our hair vitamins is our #1 product. We just got talked about in Women's Day magazine. So I was like, hey, some people, say they can't really take the vitamins to grow their hair. So I was like, do a hair growth smoothie. I made the smoothie, I put it in my smoothie. Another company did the same thing on their website. And somebody said they took your exact thing and after you did it and they did it. So, but you can't be mad because it's competition. It's always Coke versus Pepsi, right?
Right, always. McDonald's versus Burger King.
Right. So I think the other thing too, Sharif, is just not taking it so personal. Yep. Because we work so hard for stuff, but it's the American way. You just have to take the competition and say, it's not about who did it first. It's about that if my customers, they like that I do smoothies, and if they took it and did it and their customers like smoothies, what can you do? You can't take it personal. And I think we, as Black people, we take things so personal when it comes to business because we work so hard, right? And when we see somebody else take something, we take it personal. But I'm realizing we just can't take it personal. If they use a smoothie on there, that's fine. I just don't look at anybody else's pages because I can't, in my spirit, I can't do it. Because I don't want to snatch anything that they have because to me, it cuts off the creativity that's in me to go on. It don't mean that I don't take advice. I do take business advice. I go to conferences and I listen. I come to other things like this, on my level, but I'm not going to, if I'm trying to create something, I'm not going to go to another page that I think that got it to try to mimic it. Cause that cuts the blessing all the way off anyway. Cause it's not for me like that.
Yeah.
So Deshawn, someone asked in the question, because you were talking about, kind of maybe retiring. They asked if you had legacy set up, meaning, do you have something to pass down to your grandchildren? Do you have people that are ready to take over the business when you're no longer wanting to be the CEO?
Yeah, and I don't even want to tell what my plan is.
Okay.
There you go.
But
I'm with you.
I prefer not to say that at this point. But I will tell you for my salon business, I would talk about that because on my salon business, I am ready to turn that over. And I'm not there. I usually come in like twice a month now to do what I do there because I realized I had gotten out, but I realized who I am is really attached to even that part of the business. So I go in about twice a month, but I am looking to turn that over to a legacy to someone in my family, that part of it. But the NOURITRESS, the brand part, I prefer not to say at this time.
Right, it's all good. They asked the question and I'm just making sure that it gets answered. Thank you so much. And what was the name of the college, I think? Babson. It's actually Babson, yeah.
But the program is the 10,000 Small Business Program through Goldman Sachs. So for those who are listening, and I know they're still heavily with it. I know that they just, due to the pandemic, they're going online. In the Atlanta area, we didn't have a satellite place to go. So we physically went to Babson. I mean, they flew us out there. They paid all the money. It was nice being on the campus, but different places like Philly or like Florida, they actually have partner satellite colleges where they run the program. So you don't get a chance to actually go to Babson, but it's a great program. I tell anybody to look into it. You do have to, your business have to be making a certain amount of money. So just go to Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program online, look and see what the requirements are and apply.
Okay. And I think somebody was asking, someone's actually asking, can you mentor them?
Oh yeah, tell them you can follow me on Instagram. If you go to Instagram under @NOURITRESS, although I have a team, but I'm always on there. I'm on there. I'm like, I'm always on there now.
Right.
Just seeing what people are saying. So I get everything that comes through there. I see everything that comes through there because remember, my emails are not attached to my phone. So I'm on social media all the time.
Right. Yeah. Excellent. And one more question. Where, I know that you said that you wrote 3 books earlier. Where can they find, where can people find your books?
One of my books is actually the publisher is Milady, Cengage Learning. It was called Booth Running 101. So that wasn't self-published. So you would have to go to the Milady Cengage Learning website to get that. But to get the other books, you just contact, you can go to my personal website, DeshawnBullard.com. And I I don't think I sell them on there. Just send me an email.
Okay.
They're older. They're older.
Okay. Excellent.
All right. Well, we definitely appreciate. We want to respect your time, and I know it's been an hour and 30 minutes.
Yes, it was good.
No, thank you guys, and thank you, Sharif, and all that you do, for the community to try to, promote and support small businesses, and it doesn't go unnoticed.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
All right. So tomorrow is the last and final day of New Africa August. I can't believe we've done this for 31 days straight. But we want everyone to join us tomorrow. We are doing a mental health session, which we need to end this on a mental health note, right? So we can go into September a little bit more ready, because we don't know what's coming in the fall, but we want to make sure that you all join us tomorrow. And then also be looking out for some of our team members, because we're going to end with people from the team, right? So we always have Rashid in the background. Rashid, go ahead and say what's up, because we're about to end out tomorrow.
Thank you all for coming to participate. So I'm live in the background.
Okay. And then we want everyone to be looking out to see what's coming up new for We Buy Black and New Africa. So join us again tomorrow, 6 p.m. And thank you so much, Deshawn, and we will see you all again soon.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye. Have a good rest of the week.
All right. Good night.
Good night.